Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Rolf Kluge.
Hi, good evening to everyone. Hi. First of all, thank you to letting me speak here at Tum.ai. It's the first time at Tum.ai. It's the first time for me at the summit. So I'm actually deeply impressed of what you're doing. So thank you for that, first of all. Okay, I'm Rolf. I'm the CTO of Appsfactory. Appsfactory is an agency, a digital agency, and this agency builds application. So we build application. A lot of them we have done in the last 14 years, over 700. And we work for the big brands in Germany, for BMW, for Mercedes, in the media sector, for Süddeutsche Zeitung, for the RAD, in the finance sector, in the health sector, in the energy sector, and so on and so forth. And this speech today, this Impulse keynote, is about what is the status quo at agencies when it comes to AI, and what does AI mean to agencies. So, when I say we build a lot of applications, then an application has always a human interface, always an UI, is somehow used by a human. And this is what we focus, very human-centric. And this is why I would like to start with a statement of a human. And I was wondering, what is actually intelligence? And I was looking up a definition, a good one, and I found this one from Jean Piaget. It's a Swiss psychologist. And he said, intelligence is what you utilize when you don't know what to do. Actually, he said it in German, and I translated, but this is actually the sense out of it. And I was wondering, is AI something similar? Do you use AI when you don't know what to do or not? And I would like to prove in 3 cases whether this is the case or not. First of all, let's start with Tagesschau. Everyone from Germany knows Tagesschau. So what has AI to do with Tagesschau? When you pitched the project already 6 years ago, we said, you need to identify and address a younger user group. You need to have an app which has a vertical video, something like Insta or Snapchat. And we won the pitch. And later on, when we stepped into the project and wanted to implement it, someone was asking, who's actually cutting the vertical video? And we are pointing to each other. We said to Tagesschau, I thought you have the video cutters. And they said, no, you pitched it, and you said you had the video cutters. And we said, no, we are software developers. And so there was a problem which needed to be solved by software. And in the end, what turned out is that we found a solution, an AI face recognition, which selects the relevant scene of a video from a landscape, the relevant scene, and shows it in the app. The problem is not solved. Because if you're in a case that you have Emmanuel Macron on this side and on this other side, Olaf Scholz, then you have a huge problem. Because then the machine somehow needs to decide politically who to show first or next, or who to show in total or not. And this is what we do not want to allow the machine to do. And this is why we built a tool which is web-based, which is somehow, first of all, fully automated, select the relevant scene, but where an editor can say, okay, let's go to Scholz first and then to Macron and back and forth, and make somehow a story out of it which is relevant for a human user. Not only that, the video is not only cut, it's also in a sense that the video is transferred to the smartphone, and you can, the control information is given to the smartphone. You can use the video, as you can see there, with the skateboard scene in both directions. So this is why it's also a good side effect not to cut it into a video, but also to give the information to the smartphone. So we have already one case where full automation, full AI didn't solve the problem, and where we needed to put our intelligence in order to solve the problem in a way that it serves the needs. A second case, I think for all of you who worked in a company or had worked in a company or worked in a company, who have an intranet there, you know, when you build up an intranet, things from time to time get a bit messy. You know, even with the best intentions, where did I find the information about VPN connection? Where did I find the information about Wi-Fi? What is the doc policy once again? Where's the coffee machine in the office in Cologne? And so on and so forth. And we have the same problem. And this is why we have Appsfactory GPT. So we've implemented something on top of our intranet, which is Confluence, Atlassian Confluence based, and where we can give requests to it and can ask, okay, even for new employees, it's very handy not only to raise questions to humans, but also to the machine. What is the policy back and forth? And of course, there are still improvements necessary. So if you like, to give one example, I say, for instance, where's the coffee machine in Cologne? And it gives you an answer. But if you ask, where's the coffee machine in the home office, it gives somehow the same answer. But this is a problem we can solve later on. So the second thing is where we use AI to serve a human need. Thirdly, the third case. A client came to us and said, okay, I have a huge problem with my service desk, with my IT service desk. My IT service desk, a service desk is something where you wait your requests, VPN is not working, or I need a new notebook, or Exchange server is not working. And what the client has recognized that the amount of tickets were growing huge, and they had only 8 colleagues, 8 employees in the first level support who needed to qualify these tickets in order to give it at the right second level support. And what we built on top is, in order to help them, is that we said, okay, you can employ one new one, and this is a bot, this is a service desk bot, and we had several services. Several services in a sense that it can give right away an answer to the user, it can look up in the knowledge base, and give the user right away an answer. If it's uncertain, then it gives back to the first level support in order to qualify even more, or it gives directly to the second level support in order to solve this. And this is solved by AI, all the requests which are coming in through email, but also via phone, getting recognized, transcribed, and giving on the same channel where it receives back the information to the user who had the problem. However, this thing was solved, and this was done, and it seemed to be very obvious today that we use AI for that, absolutely, to recognize speech or text and give a proper answer to it. But then they come to us and say, okay, but there's another problem. So even, just want to go back, even if we have solved these things, we have certain amount of tickets and certain amount of tickets where the handover is very hard. So if someone is on sick leave or if someone is on vacation and you have a ticket with a thread out of 50 tickets, then it's pretty hard to hand this over to another person and to go through what was happening and what was not. And here comes the thing, the solution is kind of trivial, but with this one, it needed a certain amount of time to come up with the solution. And it's actually just a summary. So you have an amount of 50 tickets, and you say a large language model, please summarize me this ticket. And it's very small. It's one case where Regina M. needed to activate their Windows. And she said, okay, I need to be at the Dienststelle. In the end, it stated, she will come around as soon as she knows whether she gets her car back from the mechanic. And this is stated in these 3 lines, except of 50 on the left-hand side, where someone needs to go through, and which takes a lot of amount of time. So the third case where AI does not come right away with the idea, but we as humans put effort in, and said, okay, our intelligence is needed in order to solve the problems and give a proper solution. So what AI is for us, and this is a very maybe solution-oriented, but also agency-oriented perspective. AI is always for us a symbiosis of technology, about automation, but also taking care of about the humans who are using this. And this is why I would like more likely to say that we use AI whether we do not know what to do with conventional algorithms. Okay, one last thing. I would like to give you an orientation where I see agencies in this software development phase, in this software jungle of AI. And I would like to start with 3 categories. One, on the left-hand side, are the SaaS providers. Everyone knows ChatGPT, everyone knows Midjourney, everyone knows other tools. They're popping up like mushrooms. There are a lot of them. It's very easy and handy. Just swipe your credit card and you can use it. You have an API, you have a user interface, you can use it. Then we have a category of hyperscalers. This is something like AWS, this is something like GCP, this is something like Azure, Microsoft. They provide a toolbox with a lot of AI tools you can use and utilize. And then we have the right-hand side, and it's hard to define this category. I call it on-premises because the solution they provide are somehow on-premises used. So in a data center, for instance. But these solutions come up from the open source community, also from research institutions, or also from software developers who provide something which runs on-premises. And if you put only 2 scales on that, then you have on the one hand side the speed for time to market, which is obviously very high on the SaaS side, but very low on the on-premises side because you need to set up all the stuff by your own. And the hyperscaler has a decent amount in the middle of it. But also think about the client compliance and also about data protection. So if you work for the police ministry, is it right to use ChatGPT? Of course not. And the client compliance and data protection laws which are out here, GDPR, state very, very clearly what you can do and what you can't do. And so the client compliance is pretty low on the SaaS side, but pretty high on the things you have under your own control. And this is where I see agencies in this area. So as agency, we are no SaaS providers. We are no hyperscalers. We are no on-premises providers. What we do is we listen to the client, we listen to the customer, do consulting, do things like, okay, for this case, we can use ChatGPT. For this case, we need a large language model which runs on premises. For this case, we can use GCP and the services from Vertex AI. For that, we can use Azure. But for that, we can have a local instance of Whisper in order to have speech recognition on premises. And so it starts always with the problem of a client and a consulting phase, then goes to a design phase, but not only design when it comes to visual design, but also architectural design, process design, all the things which are necessary in order to plan what to do, in order to provide a good solution. Then the development, also the QA phase, and also the fine-tuning of the models. As I stated, some of the models are not perfect, like where's the coffee machine in my home office? And then provide a good solution, good AI solution, which of course serves the need of the client, but more importantly, serves the need of the end user. And this is where we all are in to provide solutions, using solutions as end users. Maybe from time to time we are clients, from time to time we are more the agent who provides the solution or the consultant. And this thing we are in, and what is the perspective of an agency on the AI landscape? Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you very much, Rolf, for all the insights. Also for the insight about, okay, when do you use AI? And the opinion was, okay, you can use AI when you basically got stuck with conventional algorithms. That would be an idea. And right now the question is, what do you think? So we want to make it at least partially interactive. So what is your opinion about that? And I think we have time for at least one question. So, dear audience, what do you think? What is your question to Rolf about the digital agency, about Appsfactory, about one of the use cases he showed, about the opinion? Do you have a different opinion? This AI summit is all about challenging the status quo. So also, if you have a different opinion, let us know. We have here a microphone, and we will pass it to you. So who has a question? Don't be shy.
Hi, thanks for the nice talk. So it's a question with, it's a tongue-in-cheek question. So you mentioned that, there are many different customer problems or constraints, and you build, an architecture that sort of satisfies the different constraints, requirements, GDPR, etc. So my question is, how different are the different constraints that, people come up with, that your customers come up with? And in general, if it would be possible in the near future, that you have an AI that is trained to develop this architecture, that automatically solves this in some sense, democratizing the design process.
Very good question. Thank you so much for that. So I must say it's totally different. So if you work in the public sector, so it's totally different than if you work in the media sector, for instance. Media is very much dynamic, very much front-running, trying things out, tearing things down if it's not working, and so on and so forth. Whereas in the public sector, it's more, you need to be very conscious about the data. If you work for instance, police ministry, so no data the data must not leave the building, actually. So you need to do everything on premises. So, and the question whether AI is at one point so intelligent or so smart that they come up with a solution. So I just raise a problem in and the proper solution comes out. I think it's a bit of a way, I would say. So take the example. Someone comes to an AI and say, okay, I have a problem with the handover process of a ticket of 15 entries. What would be the answer of ChatGPT? I don't know. I haven't tried, but let's try this evening. And if ChatGPT has a solution for that, which is close to that and serves the needs, then I'm completely convinced that we're very close. If not, then I think it's a bit of a step, I would say. But thank you for the question.
Hi. So when clients approach you with a question and when they ask for solution by AI, in what percentage actually the solution can be given without AI, and how well are they informed of whether AI is needed in fact or not?
I would say 82.3%. No, actually, so AI is it's a tool out of a toolbox, a very strong one, and from time to time, it's just one part of the solution. But in some cases, also the whole solution. So it depends. So it totally depends, and I think it's a perfect tool for getting to the next step of automation. And as soon as you're approaching a problem where you say, okay, this is really a tricky one, so I can't solve this conventional solution, then there's somehow a trigger where some AI can help. But also, as you may know, it can't help in any case. So in every case, sorry, because it's also not deterministic from time to time if you work with large language models, for instance. So to process it afterwards, if you have an algorithm which is later on gets in the output of the large language model, it's very hard to work with it if it's not deterministic. So also this clue needs to be somehow recognized in order to provide a good solution. Unfortunately, I can't provide you a percentage. It's different, but from time to time only a small portion. Usually from time to time also a bigger portion. But thank you for that question.
Okay, and one final question from Jordi.
Thank you, Tobias. Thank you, Rolf. I'm just coming from my workplace, and there we've been crafting a solution for computer vision to read out measurements of a gauge reader, like pressure measurements and so on. And they've been working weeks on this, and then they put it into the new functionality of ChatGPT that you just submit a picture, and it did a perfect readout. And I see this as a movement that basically before we did really detailed deep learning, fine-crafted models, and now it seems to move in the direction that everything becomes one solution that fits a lot more cases. So my question to you is, what do you think is the development of consorting in this direction? Because I feel like there's less and less detailed engineering involved, and it's more into just plug and play for a lot of problems. And yeah, what do you think? Is consorting going to be a bit reduced, or is the mass volume of new use cases kind of compensating for that?
I didn't get the case completely, but I would say ChatGPT, large language model, brings us a lot in order to get new ideas and get new ideas about solutions we can provide. And of course, plugging in the pieces and building blocks on top of it is much more handy and much easier in this case than it was before. So than it was years and years before. So I would say, so the consulting part still remains, because at some point you need to explain the solution to someone who's, so for us as an agency, we always need to explain what we have done. Even if you don't know at some point in detail, and some points are a black box, we still need to know the inputs and the outputs. So I wouldn't take consultancy out, but still building things and sticking things together is much more handy now than it was, I would say, 10 or 15 years ago. Does it serve your? Is it a good answer to you? Does it?
Yeah, more or less. I think it's less engineering involved in the future. And I think you're right in the way it's more plug and play, and it's going to be more on a system architecture level perhaps, and less on a model fine-tuning level.
And also depends on the application. There might be cases where there's even more engineering involved and needed, because you need to or want to run things on on-premise infrastructure. Then it's even more engineering needed. So no black and white, I would say. It's more. We get enough new tools out of this, and this is great for automating processes, I would say.
Okay, thank you very much for all the questions, and thank you, Rolf.